So picture this. 4 friends, first day at Strixhaven, ready to soak up all the magical knowledge and maybe stir up a little trouble. First up, we have Ray, an Aarakocra paladin, which, how cool is that?
Always a fan of a bird person who can smite evil.
Right. And then there's Andro, our human fighter, always up for a good challenge.
Classic. You gotta have a bit of brawn in the group, ready to handle any rogue textbook creature.
Sure. And to round things out, we've got not 1 but 2 rogues. Ralzaman, a half-elf, and Noctis, an owlin.
Ooh, an owlin rogue. That's a clever choice. Stealthy, observant, and they can literally fly under the radar.
Exactly. Okay, so we got our adventuring party. Now let's talk about what makes them tick. Andro is all about those dead languages and the historical dragon guard.
Sounds like someone's itching to uncover lost secrets in ancient lore.
Oh, absolutely. But then we've got Ralzaman, who's a little less interested in dusty old books and a lot more interested in Bow's End Tavern and, wait for it, the Gymnasts Club.
Okay, now that's an interesting mix. You've got the bookworm and the, aspiring tavern connoisseur?
Basically. And get this, Ralzaman's big dream is to be a chef.
A rogue with a knack for cooking makes you wonder what kind of delicacies they might whip up, and perhaps more importantly, what kind of information they might gather while doing it.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
It's like that whole never trust the skinny chef thing, but with a magical twist. And speaking of twists, let's talk about Noctis. They want to be the campus groundskeeper.
Okay, that's an interesting career aspiration for an owlin rogue.
Right. But here's where it gets intriguing. They're also fascinated by the Lifters Society.
Wait a minute, the Lifters Society, aren't they rumored to be involved with all sorts of, shall we say, extracurricular activities?
That's the rumor. Okay, we need to talk about Ray, our Aarakocra paladin. They want to join the Student Mages of Faith, which tracks with the whole paladin thing. But they also want to be the dorm RA.
Now that's just asking for trouble.
Talk about a recipe for some hilarious and probably slightly dangerous situations.
Right, and think about the internal conflict. The rigid paladin code clashing with the wild, unpredictable nature of magic students.
Talk about a crash course in patience. Although maybe that's part of what Ray needs to learn, to balance their sense of justice with a little bit of flexibility.
Classic party composition, but with Strixhaven's twist. And up against this crew, it's Quintilius Antiphon Melantor III. Talk about a name, right?
You can practically hear the silver spoon.
Exactly. He's got that I get what I want energy radiating off of him.
And that brings us to the Orientation Day scavenger hunt. You've got these students, each with their own unique skills and styles and the challenges. They're designed to make you think, to make you work together.
No one's going solo on this one.
Not if they want to win. And we see this play out immediately. Ralzaman, he's got those rogue instincts, right? Spotting clues hidden in plain sight. And then there's Ray.
Yeah.
Keeps everyone going when things get rough. Which, knowing Strixhaven, is only a matter of time.
Oh, guaranteed. It's like they designed the challenges to test how well they work as a team. And just to remind us that this is still school, even if it's a magical university.
We've got Cadoras.
Right. Noctis's best friend. And this one, he's got this thing for pickles.
Never underestimate the power of a good snack.
Yeah.
Our heroes, they're actually doing really well in this scavenger hunt. Like, surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Closing in on that final clue, and then, bam. They're in the Biblioplex, Strixhaven's grand library, and everything goes sideways.
Picture this. You're in the Biblioplex, right? Surrounded by all this ancient knowledge. The air smells like old parchment, and it's quiet, like really quiet.
Almost reverent. You know?
Exactly. And then, bam, chaos. Screams, books flying everywhere. Our heroes are facing something straight out of a nightmare.
But this isn't just any nightmare. This is a creature that preys on anyone who judges a book by its cover. Literally.
A mimic. And before you ask, for those who haven't encountered one, it's a creature that can disguise itself, like, perfectly. It could be anything.
Anything.
Yep.
And things get very hairy, very quickly for our heroes. Because suddenly, it's not about riddles anymore. It's about survival.
Survival against a creature that's as tough as it is tricky. But this is where those unique skills we were talking about, they become lifesavers.
Right. Because you've got Ralzaman, our resident rogue, and the library becomes his weapon.
Talk about turning the tables.
Seriously, he uses the bookshelves, the layout, everything to his advantage. Just like the rogue, master of shadows and surprise, using the very embodiment of knowledge as a shield. Kind of poetic when you think about it.
And while that's happening, you've got Andro, our fighter, charging in head first. But Don't mistake that direct approach for a lack of skill.
Hmm?
Andro's all about precision, knowing exactly where to hit to make every blow count.
It's like you were saying before about raw power versus strategy. And just when you think things can't get any crazier, we have a new player enter the scene. Lyra. She's a human sorcerer, brand new to the group. And her to the magic with that, well, let's just say it needs a bit of work.
A work in progress. But what's important here is that she's willing to jump in, to stand with her friends even though she's not sure what she can do.
Because sometimes just showing up is the bravest thing you can do.
Especially in Strixhaven. But even in the middle of all this chaos, we get a little reminder that these are still students at heart.
They're covered in library dust, probably a little traumatized. And I'm guessing this isn't how they thought their first day at Strixhaven would go. I'm guessing a visit from a professor wasn't on their minds either, especially, right after that whole mimic situation.
Well, then this isn't just any professor showing up. This is Professor Sharpbeak we're talking about.
So picture this. Owl. Person-sized. This air of quiet authority. Like even her feathers are whispering ancient secrets. You just get the feeling she doesn't miss a thing. So Professor Sharpbeak shows up, sees our heroes standing over a defeated mimic. They're probably covered in dust, a little worse for wear. What happens next?
She commends them, not just for defeating the creature, but for how they worked together. That courage, that teamwork in the face of danger. It's exactly what the Silver Quills value. She even awards them a prize, a magical quill set.
A magical quill set?
Yeah.
That's incredible. But also, can you imagine Quintilius's face?
Oh, I bet he practically blew a gasket.
Because he shows up expecting to win, right?
Yeah.
That's his thing. And instead, our heroes just accidentally stole his thunder.
Yeah.
And they did it by, almost getting eaten by a mimic and then saving the day.
It's a good look for them.
It really is.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, what does this all mean for Quintilius? Is he going to learn from this? Or is this just going to make him double down on winning no matter what?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's a question that hangs over Strixhaven. Because, as impressive as it was to take down that mimic, our heroes have just stepped onto the playing field. There are bigger things lurking in those hallowed halls, things that can't be solved by a well-timed spell, or even a strategically placed pickle.
So where does this leave us? What's the takeaway from this first, very eventful look at Strixhaven?
I think that mimic encounter, it was terrifying, sure, but it was also a lesson. In a world where magic's real, where knowing something can actually make you powerful, it's the ability to adapt, to work together, to never underestimate a good pickle. That's what matters. Those are the skills that'll make or break you in Strixhaven.
It's like the real magic isn't just the spells and creatures. It's the bonds you build, the choices you make when the unexpected smacks you in the face. And, based on what we've seen so far, Strixhaven is full of unexpected moments.
You can say that again.
So, until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and as always, stay curious.